Peace and blessings, family. Majesty Ocean here. It brings me so much excitement to be able to share another episode of Majesty Speaks with you all today. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my journey, connecting more to my womb space and diving more into my divine femininity. So, if you've been following my journey for a while, then you do know I am one who experienced tons of womb trauma. Now, this began when I was a little girl. I experienced sexual abuse at a very young age, and this was really hidden. I didn't share this with anybody, I didn't express it to anybody. I really just held all the things that I was experiencing inside of me. But I did use dance as a way to express myself. I was in dance in middle school and high school, so I feel like that was really the outlet that I used to really process those emotions that I was feeling. And as I got older, being in relationships, I experienced a lot of betrayal and infidelity, right? So you can only imagine all of the stored emotions and trauma that was stored within the womb. And this really opens me up to an entire world when it comes to connecting to your womb space and all the beautiful modalities to connect more to your essence as a woman. So for me, that really began with dance. For one, dance is a really big practice of mine that I use to really allow my body to express whatever it is feeling. And fasting is another really big part that really allowed me to connect to my womb in a way that I never had before. I was really able to listen to her, to listen to where she wanted to be guided to, how she wanted to be nurtured, who she wanted to spend her energy with, exchange her energy with, right? So many things really began to shift when I really began to connect to my womb in this way. And this really brings me into just continuing to understand, right, the power that we have within our wombs. We are not only connected to the earth plane, sisters, but we are connected to the entire cosmos. When it comes to creation, when it comes to a portal of everlasting ideas and visions, we are able to access this information by really connecting to our wombs. So, with this being said, I really just continue to be curious, right? Diving into all of these holistic practices that are not really taught to us as women, right? Some practices when it comes to cycle syncing. I was on birth control for probably about 7 years, and I kept hearing the call to remove this birth control so I can really get acclimated with my hormones and really begin to understand how my body is actually working through this cyclical rhythm that we experience every single month. So I really began to dive into the cycles and really listen to how my womb wanted to be nurtured and nourished, especially through the foods that I was consuming, through the juices that I was consuming, really just creating this beautiful lifestyle as to how can I continue to nourish, to love myself so that I can thrive at my highest capacity and what I feel, what I know to be my best, right? Where I'm able to express myself effectively and really just feel good, feel safe inside my body and my expression inside this beautiful temple that God has gifted me with. So through my journey, I continued to listen to spirit and really listen to my body and how she wanted to be nurtured and cared for. And with the dancing and the cacao and the fasting and all these beautiful modalities, it really led me to going on a beautiful journey to Guatemala to learn a beautiful technique of Maya Abdominal Massage. Now, I have really been diving into the Maya culture for really the beginning of my spiritual awakening. I would really say I was connecting a lot to the Maya, to the Aztec, really connecting back to my roots as an indigenous woman. And this was just such a beautiful way for me to connect back to that ancestral wisdom, right? I was so disconnected from my identity for such a long time. But as I continued to connect back to these ancestral practices of curanderismo, of the Maya Abdominal Massage, of all these beautiful holistic ways to connect back to the essence of who we are through the elements of Neteru, air, fire, water, earth. Understanding that we are not separate from these elements, but we are these elements, including spirit, that really, really allows us to connect back to our divinity, to the co-creators that God has destined us to be, and to continue to bring forth these visions that God has set upon you, and specifically only you. So as I continue to really lean into the truth of this, even writing poetry, being able to express myself, it is actually said that when you express your throat chakra, you are also liberating your yoni, right? As above, so below. So even my journey as a poet and launching my book, Sacred Vision, was also a very big part in being able to liberate myself and express myself effectively and really just unapologetically at the end of the day. I actually traveled to Guatemala for the first time in 2022, and I was really working with the medicine of cacao very heavily then, and was able to really see the indigenous women and how they prepare the cacao, which was such a big part of my journey for so long, being able to tap back into that ancestral intuitive movement within the body and really being able to experiment with different ways that the body would like to move, would like to be expressed through intuitive movement. And it wasn't until I had experienced a very, very big transition of a breakup, and I was being able to spend so much time in my solitude, listening to myself, pouring into myself. And it was so beautiful to be able to understand the love and the capacity that we have to hold within ourselves for ourselves, and the source of energy that we can really bring and call upon, that support, that love from the Almighty Creator, Creatress, that is able to fill us up with visions, with love, with gratitude whenever we call upon the divine, the guides, ancestors, creator, to assist us in our journey. And I've always had a very strong spiritual connection. I would say, even just being a little girl, I've seen a lot of spirits and a lot of energy when I was younger. And as I got older, of course, these gifts really became diminished. But as I continue to tap back into the power of my identity as an Indigenous woman and reclaiming all these beautiful gifts that I have, one being light language, which is a beautiful modality to express yourself using a channeled language that really is rooted from your ancestry, which is so beautiful. And along with that is really diving into this beautiful hands-on support, which, if you were to ask me how I ended up in this journey and stepping into this offering, I can really say that it has been spirit that has been guiding me, and I am just so grateful and honored to learn this medicine and these techniques from the indigenous women in Guatemala and Legatitlan, my beautiful teachers, Mariyu and Ana Reina, who really, wow, I would just partake in so much of my own healing and transformation that I didn't even realize going into this training. But it was an initiation truly in itself, which really continued to lead me down this path of sharing this beautiful medicine of hands-on healing and support through body work, through Reiki, and through this beautiful tradition of the Maya Abdominal Massage. So I'm going to dive a little bit into this practice with you all today and really dive into the beautiful ancestral wisdom of what this massage really carries, right? So just to tell you a little bit about my journey, As I was continuing to go through my healing journey, there were a lot of things that I wanted to heal within my womb space. I could feel that there was a lot of trauma and emotions stored within my womb, especially after experiencing betrayal in my previous relationships and knowing that there were things that I just wanted to release. And during this time in my solitude, I was doing so many of the practices of the fasting, the yoni steaming, even the yoni egg was such a beautiful practice that I love to do every single month during my luteal phase so that I could really continue to cleanse those energetic blockages within my womb space. So as I continue to dive into my own healing journey and connect to all of these beautiful holistic practices, connecting back to the womb, my creativity activated like never before. I was constantly creating, channeling new offerings, sharing these things with my community, with my sisters, with my family, and it was so profound. And I continued to get visited by these beautiful spirit guides and really listen to the call to go to Guatemala to really dive into this hands-on healing. And the power of this medicine is so transformative because it is taking us back to the ancestral practices and the ways to connect to our womb with hands-on support. And sisters, I don't know about y'all, but for me, it was very difficult for me to ask for help so many times along my journey. And I had to come to realize that we need to support one another. We are not meant to do these things by ourselves, especially when we're processing so many emotions, so many traumas that we are trying to really heal and overcome from. So that's number one, really being able to allow yourself to receive the support is one of the most biggest things that I had to do continuing to go along my healing journey. So when it comes to the Maya Abdominal Massage, we are really connecting to the heart of the stomach as well as repositioning the womb, because oftentimes our wombs are not centered where they should be. This can occur from giving birth, from having miscarriages, from lifting heavy things. There's so many different ways that our uterus can get displaced. So this is an opportunity for us to reposition our uterus so that we can stay balanced, so that the energy can continue to flow, that life force energy that we have within our bodies. And this is when we are able to have more neutral menstrual cycles, right? We're able to connect to our bodies in a more intuitive way. We're able to listen to what it is that our bodies are really desiring. And this really is a call to connecting back to our wombs with that hands-on support so that we can connect to our bodies and really just release all these things that we're not meant to carry within inside of us. So it has been so transformative. And again, such an honor to offer this medicine to brothers and to sisters as well. But I definitely will say the experiences that I've had with my sisters who have trusted me with receiving this medicine, it has been so beautiful to just hear the revelations that they have, the visuals that they get during the massage, just the way that they are being held and supported in a new way. And I know when it comes to our wombs, when it comes to this area, our stomachs, it can be such a sensitive place, right? It is said that we actually hold a lot of our emotions inside of our guts, inside of our stomachs, and especially being a fasting mentor and guiding people through the fasting journey and also experiencing so much of my own fasting as well. It really becomes apparent to me how powerful the energy within our entire center of our being is, right? Connecting to the solar plexus as well as the sacral chakra. So when we are connecting to this beautiful energy that is stored right here in the center of our entire being is when we can truly come back home to ourselves. Now, what does this feel like? What does it feel like to truly come back home to yourself? Well, it feels like safety. It feels like embodiment. It feels like expression. It feels like being able to walk into the version that God has destined you to be. It's no longer living in fear or scarcity, but it's trusting in the path that is set before you. And when we are able to dive into these ancestral practices that have been used for millennia from our ancestors, before data could even be recorded, is when we can really tap back into the essence of who we are as multidimensional creators and as women, as multidimensional beings that are meant to create and birth so much beauty into this world right now. And I really feel this, even just being at the brink of such beautiful transformation that is happening not only within our communities, but all across the globe. We are beginning to remember of our truth, of the remembrance of our multidimensional identity and who we are as multidimensional creators. Tapping back into the practices of our ancestors is so vital and important. Because if we do not do this, then we will continue to stay disconnected from our spirit, from our purpose, from our joy, from it is that we are really meant to do here in this third dimensional reality. We chose to come here. We chose to experience this life the way that it is, regardless if it is easy or if it is difficult. This is the life that we chose. And when we continue to dive into these beautiful ancestral practices, and is when we can begin to reclaim our truth and our power once again, not only for ourselves, but for the future generations. And this is something that I get so excited talking about, right? Is that this is wisdom and knowledge that will continue to last generations and generations. And we can actually bring practical tools and methods to share with our daughters, with the women of the world, so that they can connect to their wombs in a way that we were not taught. It is time, sisters. It is time for us to claim our sovereignty once again, to connect back to these practices that our ancestors have left behind for us, so that we can continue to stay connected and rooted in who we are as divine feminine beings. So family, it brings me so much excitement to continue to share these practices that have literally transformed my life and will continue to do so. And it is such an honor to continue to share these practices with my community, with my sisters, with my brothers. So if you are ready to receive this hands-on support, then you can go ahead and message me at majesty.ocean on Instagram, or you can follow my wellness page at lunaformation_. And I so look forward to holding space for you all. If you have any questions or have topics that you want me to dive into a little deeper, then do leave any comments or questions down below, and I will be sure to share more information on the next episode. Let me know what you think about this video. Also, go ahead and leave any comments, questions, concerns. Sending you all so much love, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon.